Okay, guys, I guess we're gonna talk about sex again. And trust me, I don't necessarily want to have this conversation, but this has been percolating in my brain, and honestly, this video is just gonna be extra bonus content. So if you guys don't know me, I'm April Melvin. I put out videos that are faith-based, and I put those out on Thursday, and they are more teaching-based. This one is gonna be more ranty-based. This is gonna be me just giving you my straight-up opinion about all things Christian. Tonight, we're focusing on marital sex, and the inspiration of this video comes from the comedian Trey Kennedy. He had a video on TikTok, and listen, I am not dogging Trey Kennedy. He is hysterical. If you guys have not seen his stuff, check him out. But this particular video ticked me off. Again, not because of anything he did, but because of why he was able to portray this stereotype. Here's what it was, and maybe this will help explain it. So he was pretending to be a wife and a mom, and he was kind of making some rude, sarcastic comments. That's his bit, if you guys have not seen it. At any rate, he was doing this bit where he was complaining about, his husband who can't find anything, if you know what I mean. Ha ha ha, so funny. And it is funny. It's very tongue-in-cheek. But I do have to tell you, after doing the research for my book Shackled, after doing the series on marriage last month, it does kind of take me off that this is still, in the Christian community especially, a very prevailing thing, that men are just terrible at sex, or rather, husbands are terrible at sex, and wives just get a free pass to rip on them, I guess. And so that's kind of what he was doing here. Before I get into what I really want to talk about, is comparing marital sex with coffee. Hang with me, it's a whole deal. I've been pondering this for a while. Here's what I would have to say about that whole thought process with women. First of all, ma'am, you did not marry Magellan. So I don't understand the snootiness of us wives when we act like our husbands should just enter a foreign land and magically know where he was supposed to go, and then get ticked off at him because he didn't have any sort of a friendly guide or map or anything to lead him successfully in this quest. I will also say this: that doesn't move. So if he doesn't know, if your significant other, if your spouse doesn't know where that part of your anatomy is after any length of time in marriage, that's kind of on you. That's not really on him at that point. Again, and I love what Rachel Hollis says, and this is Rachel Hollis's quote, not April Melvin, so I do not get in trouble for this quote, but she says in her first book, Girl Wash Your Face, she says, ladies, you need to be responsible for your orgasms. That's all I'm saying. Okay, one last thing, and then I'm gonna go into my 3 things that I think connect coffee and sex. And this is this: it's a team sport. I mean, it's not husbands against wives. It's a team sport. And so if you are not happy with the performance in the bedroom, ladies, maybe you should look in the mirror. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not all his fault. It's a team sport. So this whole thing has been percolating in my head about how we really need to prioritize the physical elements of our relationship, but we've made it such a joke in the culture that it's more acceptable for women to not sleep with their husbands, or to make fun of their husbands for not being good at sex, than it is to actually sleep with their husbands. It's mind-boggling to me. But it also made me think of, and hang with me because I know this is kind of weird, but it made me think of how I learned to love coffee. So I learned 3 things from learning to like coffee that I think are applicable to marital sex. And I know it's kind of weird, but it's also kind of funny, so that's why we're doing it. Before I get into that, let me just tell you unequivocally, I love coffee now. Coffee and I have a deep spiritual relationship. I am convinced that coffee is my love language. In fact, guys, I'm just gonna give you a tip about me. If you ever see me and I'm sad, or I'm unhappy, or I'm frustrated, or I'm tired, or I'm any sort of not great emotion, if you just hand me a coffee, and it doesn't have to be a fancy coffee, you could give me Folgers in a styrofoam cup, I'm immediately happy. That's just the way I feel about coffee. But there was one time in my life that was not the case, and I had to learn to like it. And there's 3 things that I learned from liking coffee that I also think could be helpful for women to learn to like marital sex, because I do think that there is some truth that some women just don't understand or don't know that it's enjoyable. And so I'm hoping that these 3 things that I'm telling you about coffee will help you guys discover the joy of marital sex, maybe. Thing number 1, I was convinced that my future happiness depended upon me being a coffee drinker. Now, I know that sounds over dramatic, but truly, guys, I wanted to drink coffee. I didn't like the taste of it. I thought it tasted like dirt, warm dirt at that. But I knew that at some point in my adult life, having coffee would make me feel like I was a functioning adult. And so because I was convinced that my future happiness was dependent on me learning to like this filtered bean water, that I would have to force myself through it. The same thing is true for sex, I believe. I think that a lot of the reasons why we don't prioritize is because we don't understand the impact that that physical element of our marriage can have. It is such an incredibly powerful thing for a marriage. And so guys, before you can even start, if you're a woman in a marriage and you have not prioritized or enjoyed sex, let me just tell you, first start off by understanding the long-term impact on having a physical connection with your spouse. It is wonderful. It is incredible. The Bible talks about how it is a good protection against the wedge of temptation in marriages. If you read the Song of Solomon, I mean, there's so much joy that can be had during that time. So before you can even really get through these next two steps, you first have to be convinced that it is important in your marriage for the happiness of your marriage. All right, the second thing, I would encourage you guys that everybody's taste buds are a little bit different. Here's what I mean by that. When you go into Starbucks, not everyone orders the same cup of black coffee, right? Everybody has different orders. They have different likes. They have different preferences. And so as you guys are exploring the physical element of your relationship, your taste buds will be different. So try new things, explore, test things out. The great thing is you've got, I would imagine, a fairly willing partner to experiment with in this area. So if you go into Starbucks, and I go there a lot, and the first drink that you try, it's not your favorite, no big deal. Go back again, try something else, add a different flavored syrup, add some whipped cream. I don't know, like just experiment and know that some people are gonna like the really dark bitter roast, and that's okay. Some people, like yours truly, I like a nice blonde roast with just nothing, just straight up black coffee. But whatever you like, just be diligent in trying and testing out new things. The third thing, your taste buds will change. When I first started drinking coffee, I actually drank a chocolate milkshake with a little coffee flavoring. It was the frozen mocha from Panera. I don't know if you guys have tried them. First of all, they're a bazillion calories. Let's just go there. And they don't taste anything like coffee, but it was my first step into liking coffee. And so I would drink frozen mochas and I guess became numb to the taste of coffee. I don't know, but it is not the same now. In fact, I don't think I could drink a frozen mocha. I think it would be way too sweet. I am a black coffee girl now. And so know that the same is true for your preferences in the bedroom. Like your taste will change. What used to work when you guys were dating or when you were newlyweds, it might not, and so the variety is okay. Again, just hang in here and try new things. Here's my bonus thing. This is not about guilt. This is not about condemnation. This is about wanting marriages in the Christian community to have a depth and a connection with each other, because I really believe in my heart of heart that we will strengthen the body of Christ if we start by strengthening our marriages. And so my bonus tip as you guys are exploring this, and I do hope that you explore it, is that your relationship is going to be different from everyone else's, and only you guys can decide what's right, what works for you. So please don't take any condemnation from this. Just take encouragement to get out there and try. Just like I learned to like coffee, you can learn to like and enjoy the physical elements of your relationship. And guys, I am telling you, it will make a world of difference in your marriage. So guys, I hope that was helpful. It was a little bit ranty. I hope it was a little bit funny. I hope it wasn't too graphic. But if this was helpful, give it a like, give it a share. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. And then guys, come back on Thursday. We are talking about anxiety on Thursday. So not sex, but anxiety. So come back for Thursday and I will see you guys then.